What's going on, beautiful people? Another freezing day in the freezing north and another video. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching. You guys are amazing. This channel is starting to take off, so I'm really happy about that. In this video, I want to tell you guys a story that happened to me in the apartment that I used to live in. So I live in a room right now in a house, and I lived in an apartment before for like 8 years, the same apartment. And of course I went through many phases as a person in that apartment. And one of the phases that I was going through was the catharsis phase. This is the phase where I was letting out a lot of repressed emotions, repressed rage, repressed anger. You know, it was the time I was cleansing myself out, and there was a lot of shit in there, guys. There was a lot of shit in there. A lot of repressed emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of frustration, a lot of sadness, a lot of tears. Oh, that was an intense period in my life. I had to empty my cup before I can put up a new one. A lot of you guys are always saying, man, you're always positive, you're always happy. It's like, you're right, nowadays I'm always positive, I'm always happy. But that's because I spent a lot of time emptying my cup that was full of bad emotions that really weighted me down and got in the way of my progress and in the way of my happiness. Success is happiness, however you find happiness to be. That's success is. It's not money, it's not fame, it's not nothing. So right now I consider myself a pretty successful person. I call myself successful because I'm genuinely happy. And it shows. I know it shows, not just to you guys, a lot of people, everyone that I come in contact with. But the period where I was letting out a lot of emotions, and I'm writing all of this in my book, which I don't know when it's gonna come out, but if you guys have been keeping up with my Instagram, anyway, don't want to go off tangents. I just go on a lot of tangents here. Back to the topic. The story goes like this. I was going through this phase, and I was screaming a lot, and I was yelling a lot, and I just wanted to release the anger. And I knew deliberately what I was doing. It's not, you know, I knew what I was doing. I was releasing the anger. And I was doing that every chance I get. If I can get to the woods, I'll do it, but also in my apartment. And I had a lot of rage, so I was screaming a lot. And I would get in a cold shower, and you know, as the cold shower begins, and then I'd start screaming and yelling, ah, 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 right? Like I would just go berserk, just would go crazy, let out all that rage, all that frustration from so many things. My childhood, a lot of fucked up shit happened there. And then just by living in society, guys, if you don't have rage and anger, if you haven't experienced true anger and rage, A, you're repressing it and you're in denial with it. B, you're not paying attention to the bullshit that is society. As simple as that. If you haven't experienced rage or anger, like really deep ones, if you're not experiencing them, say right now, or have experienced them in the past and dealt with it, you're not paying attention to society, my friend. You're not paying attention to society. There's a lot of shit that can make someone frustrated and angry, let alone the personal shit that could have happened to you in your childhood. And in my childhood, many things happened. So, anyway, let's keep going. I was screaming a lot, right? I was in the cold shower, I would scream, I'd, you know, sometimes go back from whatever, I was outside and just go, ah, I just feel like this, you know, just want to release it. And I got in a cold shower one time, and I started, you know, breathing, my heavy breathing, and then I go, ah, right? And then I hear chuk, 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 from downstairs, like somebody's like, you know, knocking, and I didn't give a fuck. I ignored it. I kept doing my thing. And then, as soon as I got out of the cold shower, I hear somebody knocking on the door. And I got out of a cold shower, so you can't fuck with me at this point. Like, you can't fuck with me anyhow or any shape or form. The president of the United States could have been knocking and I would have been calm. And I would have just, you can't fuck with me. I just got out of a cold shower and I've been screaming and yelling. So I opened the door and there's a big guy. You know, not muscular, but big, right? Not fat neither, just a big guy. And, you know, probably in his 40s or something. And he was pissed off, right? But he was scared at the same time. He was both pissed off and scared at the same time. And the first thing I noticed is his anxiety. You know, I just got out of a cold shower. I'm very sensitive, very aware, very, you know, very sharp. You can't fuck with me. So I'm there standing and I see him. He's very anxious because he has no idea who's going to show at the other side of the door. Because what he told me later is he thought I was crazy and he wanted to call the cops. So let me tell you guys the story. The story goes like this. Starts telling me, hey, you know, he's really scared. He's shaking. He's like, you know, you've been screaming a lot and you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, you've been screaming a lot and this is really, I work night shifts. I'm really tired. You know, I'm really tired of your shit. And he started getting pissed. You know, he was like starting to like get angry, but he was also anxious at the same time because he was shaking as he was talking. I'm there, I'm very calm. I look at him and I'm like, I realize what's going on. And he's saying, I'm pissed. I'm tired of your shit. You're always screaming. And I'm like, hey, what's your name? Very calmly tells me his name. I shake his hands and I say, look, my name's Saeed. Pleasure to meet you. And I'm a student, or I used to be a student in McMaster. I'm not there anymore. Just told him a little bit about myself. And then I started to explain to him. I said, you know, what I'm doing actually, I'm not just doing this out of nothing. I'm doing this deliberately. I have a lot of rage inside of me. I'm sure you can relate too. And because I know everybody can relate. Everybody can relate. And all I'm doing is I'm letting it out. I told him I'm just letting it out. I'm doing this deliberately. I'm doing this in a way. I didn't say it's catharsis per se, because I'm like, what the fuck, this guy's not gonna understand. But I told him I'm just letting out emotions. It's deliberate. And we talked for a little bit. I asked him, you know, what do you do? He told me about his work. And he came to realize I'm a sane human being, because he thought I was insane. And then he told me, later on he told me, as we were talking, he told me that, you know, I thought you're crazy. And when I knocked the door, I didn't know who's gonna show up. I thought, you know, he's like, I've been thinking a lot about coming and knocking on your door, but I didn't do it because he told me he thought you're crazy, but now I see you're not. And he's told me I was gonna call the cops. He told me I was gonna call the cops. He's like, I was this close from calling the cops. And he lives with his brother. So he's like, my brother is fucking pissed off, blah blah blah. And he's like, he told me, yeah, you know, my brother is a big guy, you know, he's trying to intimidate a little bit, but at the same time, you know, we're starting to get on a vibe here. We're starting to develop a connection. So I told him, hey man, look, you know, I make YouTube videos. I gave him my card, told him check it out. And I went the next day, knocked on his house, brought them a box of chocolate, told them, promised them that this would not happen again. And of course it did happen again, but to much less frequency. And the times that it followed that, it started happening again. It wasn't no longer just me trying to release emotion or something, but I'd sometimes just get in a cold shower and I'd get hyped the fuck up. It's not anger, it's nothing like that, just like, you know, just hyped up kind of thing. And then, you know, I'd forget that I made a promise to these guys that I would no longer make noises. So sometimes I told him, every time you make a noise, tick, 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 just knock. He has a baseball bat. He's like, just knock with the baseball bat. I'll know that I'm overstepping. I told him I'm just a loud guy. That's my nature. That's my manners. That's where I come from. And I'm very expressive and I just like to express my emotions. So, you know, if I make noise, just use your baseball bat. Just knock it. I'll know what's up. And of course, we went on a good streak for a little while. Then I was making too much noise. Guy comes up to me again, but now he knows this guy's at least sane. He's not scared anymore. We have this kind of relationship. I told him, you know, If I ever make noise, just come tell me, you know. Sometimes I forget myself, which is true. I just completely lose track of what's going on and everything. So, you know, came another time, maybe a few months later, but it was a lot more friendly this time. And I started to run into this guy more and just have a good conversation, good laugh. You know, we became friends, not close buddies, but friends, you know. Every time I see him, hey, what up, man? How's it going? How's work? This and that, right? So we became friends. We became friends after this. But it's funny to me because he thought I was insane. He actually thought, he told me I was gonna call the cops. It's like, I was this close from calling the cops. Telling them there's a crazy guy living there and we don't know what to do with him. And it shows how domesticated, to me this shows how domesticated we are. Humans are domesticated animals, that's what we are. We have been domesticated out of our natural habitat, that is nature, and confined to these little spaces that completely restrict your movement, completely restrict your behavior, completely restrict your natural human expression. God damn it. This is all natural shit. This is all natural shit. And go spend a day with one of your boys. Go out for an adventure in nature. You guys are gonna naturally start screaming and yelling and just, you know, just doing the fun shit, right? Expressing, being, right? Being one with your environment, and sort of you scream and you yell and you call each other from far. Hey, you're there, you know? It's like, it's so much fun. It's so natural because this is how we evolved like that. We evolved in hunter-gatherer tribes for the vast majority of human existence. This whole civilization shit is recent, 10,000 years ago, nothing. And, you know, we'd go hunting, gathering. You'll be screaming and shouting and singing and just being loud and being just, you know what I mean? But now we've been domesticated. Now we're domesticated animals. We've been confined to these little spaces, these little boxes, and said, well, now you have to behave a certain way. You can't be loud. You know, you gotta be mindful of your neighbors, and the way they tell you that is by being polite. They put it in a polite manner, right? They tell you, be considerate of your neighbors. Don't make noise, so you don't annoy your neighbors, right? So they make you look like the bad guy if you do. They make you look like the bad guy if you're making noise, or if you're just being a human being, a natural human being. And ever since, and up until now, my roommates probably hate me. I live in a place right now, I have 2 roommates. Oh, I know they hate me. Because one time I was singing and the roommate came from downstairs and he's like, you're singing, you know? I was like, yeah, I'm singing. He's like, can you keep it down? I'm like, all right, I'll keep it down. And, but of course, I don't give a fuck. You know, it's just singing. It's not like I was fucking singing, bro. What the fuck? So, ever since then, and up until now, I've learned that I'm gonna fucking get my own place somewhere out in nature and just fucking do Saeed shit, do normal human behavior shit, right? Because I don't consider myself as special. I don't consider myself to be an outlier or something else. I'm just a natural human being who loves to express, is loud. I'm a loud motherfucker. I'm loud. Wherever I go, I'm fucking loud, and I don't give a fuck. Because this is natural, this is normal, this is human, this is expression, this is being, right? You're not just you're you and everything around you. So of course you're gonna be loud and you're gonna sing and dance and scream and yell and do all of that. So I've come to realize I'm not exactly fit for living in a city, you know? So at least that much I've learned. And I've also learned how domesticated animals we are as a species, and how we've confined ourselves to these little spaces, these little shit boxes that we call stinky apartments and condos. You know, condos, that's another trap, right? Luxurious, come here, we have a gym for you, we have a swimming pool, blah 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 blah. But you got a shit ton of neighbors and you gotta keep it down. You know, be mindful. They tell you be mindful. They make you look like the bad guy if you're making noise or whatever. Hey, I understand if you're making noise after 11 or something, you know, like between 11 and 6 a.m., right? Yeah, like that's sleeping time, I understand. You know, that's totally cool. And that guy's argument, my neighbor, which I totally understand, and that's why I stopped being loud in my apartment. That's why I moved out of my apartment as soon as I could. He works night shifts, right? And I was like, you know, when I would do these cathartic outbursts or just screaming and yelling and letting out the rage and the emotions, I would do it during the day, usually in the middle of the day. But he had night shift, so I understand. We sorted it out, and I, to the best of my ability, I mean, he had to come a few times after and tell me that you're still making noise, and he had to use his baseball bat. But yeah, man, just really, we're all repressed. All of us. He's repressed, God bless him. So is everyone else, right? We're anxious, we're repressing these natural expressive human behavior in favor of being polite and fitting into this societal normal behavior that we are told to fit into. And it is absolutely destructive for the soul. It is absolutely crippling to your soul. Your soul wants to be free. Your soul, your consciousness, your stream of consciousness, and your stream of consciousness that wants to express itself. It wants to be out there. It doesn't want to, that's what depression is. Look at the word depression. Depressed. Depressed. Energy pressed. Depressed. Inwards. That is energy going inwards, causing you anxiety, causing you sickness, causing you inflammation, causing you misery, causing you low self-esteem, causing you lack of expression, causing you to lie, to deceive, to cheat your fellow human beings, your brothers and sisters. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Okay, so this is where I'll end my rant against the world, I guess. You know. But yeah, that's what's going on, guys. That's what's going on. Free your minds. Free yourselves. Free yourselves from all these shackles. Okay? That's the whole point of me telling the story of why my neighbors and my roommates hate me. But I will say it is what it is. Sometimes I also think of it like, you know, as long as I'm considerate between the times where, you know, it's nighttime, it's sleeping time, then in a way I'm teaching them a lesson too. You know, like, hey, this is a fucking regular human being who's making regular sounds. You might as well participate in it as well. But that's obviously very arrogant of me to say, but, you know, we gotta be humans. We gotta express. That's the way I see it, right? I'm an idiot at the end of the day, but that's just the way I see it. Anyway, that's it. Enough ranting. Check out my free book, 5 Powerful Habits to Dominate Life in All Areas. Leave me something in the comments, okay? And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.